everybody, this is Jamaal Edwards coming to you from Imperial Comics and Games located in Shelby, North Carolina, and I wanted to give a follow-up review on House of X, the newest Heroclix set to be released. I did an unboxing video on last week in anticipation for its release, and now that it's been out for a little bit here in our shop, been able to play around with it and use it, I want to give my thoughts. So overall, I am very, very impressed with House of X. The sculpts, all the things that we talked about previously are on point. The pieces are a lot of fun, and overall, I really, really enjoyed myself. As a longtime X-Men fan, anytime we go back and visit the X-Men, it just tickles me pink. I love the deep cuts and the things that I see showing up and some of my favorite characters making a return. But aside from all the good stuff though, I still need to make a few comments about things that I've noticed. The first thing that stuck out to me with this new set are the random and weird errors that are present. And it's not unusual for there to be misprints and problems with Heroclix products, but this time they're very, very strange. So I just want to highlight a couple of things that I've seen over the last few days. The first one being pieces that randomly are missing limbs. I've seen multiple pieces where it's not broken in the package, it didn't get snapped off or something, no, it's just straight up not there. I saw a North, one of the alternative timeline Magneto pieces, and basically green Magneto, just straight up missing his arm. It wasn't broken off, it just wasn't there. I've seen it at least 2 different times recently where it's like they didn't check the quality of the sculpt cut, and I think it just cut the arm off and just stuck it in the package and went on about their business. So I think that was just a little failure of the quality control. The other error that really, really got me, and I have an example here for you, and I'm going to try to bring it up closer so you guys can see. This is one of my all-time favorite characters, your boy, my friend, the sassy one, Mr. Sinister. This is a Sinister clone. And the reason why I'm showing him to you guys right now, hopefully you can see, is he has so many misprints or typos that it's downright an issue as to whether we're going to follow the dial or whether we will follow the card. So on his dial, he costs 20 points. And he has a particular set of abilities. In particular, you use him because he has Perplex. You have a 20-point Perplex piece that you can just drop on your team and spam like all get out. That's what I did initially. But on his card, he is a 25-point piece, and he does not have Perplex on every click. He only has Perplex on the first and third click, if I remember correctly. So this is a huge departure between a potentially busted figure that can be spammed versus a slightly more nuanced and balanced piece. We've been basically trying to go off of the actual dial, but I've had some games where my opponent wanted me to go off the card. So until I get a full errated correction on this, we're just kind of playing it by ear. If by the time this video comes out, they've made a ruling, then we'll go by that ruling, but I just wanted to point that out. And since I'm talking about Sinister clones, I was also disappointed that there wasn't more synergy in some of the pieces. For example, you thought for sure that Mr. Sinister would have direct synergy with his clones. I mean, that's right on par flavor-wise for House of X. He uses his clones to do stuff, and it's just not present. I don't know if they were gonna make a Mr. Sinister Prime or something, but they didn't. And to complicate matters even further, if you try to do a spam approach like I did and just have a bunch of Sinister clones to go with your Mr. Sinister and whoever else, that prevents you from using the fancy team-up cards because everybody on your team has to have a unique name, and if you have more than one Sinister clone, then that gets thrown out the window. So the main strategy for these guys is not effective with team-ups. So I have to choose, do I want to spam them or do I want to just use one or none at all to use the team-up cards? And while I'm talking about team-up cards, you end up with cards in this set that are not operable within the set. For example, this same Mr. Sinister piece that I just dropped and that I love, and he's so cool and awesome, the same Mr. Sinister piece, he has a team-up card for Marauders, which is on flavor, it's great, it's awesome. But the problem is, the pieces that go with that Marauders card are not a part of the set. the card in question has you to use Exodus and a Mystique. Well, there's not an Exodus in the set. There's not a Mystique in this set. You know, thankfully a couple sets ago we did get a cool Exodus piece that you can use from the animated series Dark Phoenix, but if you don't have that and you're just only playing exclusively from this set, that team-up card's completely useless. So it's just little things like that that are very, very weird, and it seems like they just overlooked it. It was a quality control type thing. Now, are these things bad enough to disqualify this set? Absolutely not. It's still a great set. I would again bring your attention to the quality of the sculpts. I have here a Deathlock. This is from the set that immediately preceded House of X. This is from Absolute Carnage, Venom Spider-Man. Compare him, and he was a pretty hefty figure for that set, to Professor Xavier. Xavier towers over Deathlock. So the size of the sculpt, the quality of the sculpt, everything about it is superior in House of X. Not only that, but the things that the sculpts are doing are particularly on point. We always have had attempts by WizKids to capture scenes from the comic or the property on their pieces, but they really went above and beyond this time. So again, for example, with Professor Xavier, I picked on this piece in my unboxing because I said he was farting psionic energies coming out of his backside. Well, guess what? This is actually from the comic. He actually has this exact scene, except it's actually worse because he's kneeling, where psionic energy comes from his backside and hits somebody. So this piece is not just random, it's directly from the comic. And so are some of these other pieces, like when you go into Bar Sinister, Mr. Sinister's hideout on Krakoa, or actually before Krakoa, he's got Sinister clones hanging out looking just like this. Cape Pride, same thing. The sculpts are on point in terms of the source material and also the quality. I'll just give you one simple example, something they didn't have to do. Look at the back of Kate Pride's, aka Kitty's, jacket. Look at the back of her jacket. They put the little belt buckle loop on the back of her jacket. That's something so small, so insignificant that you wouldn't even notice it or care about it, but they put it there. And not only that, but they have her phasing through the bottom of the Clicks piece itself. You can see her foot going through it. So they went above and beyond with these pieces. So that gives them a good bit of grace in my eyes and allows me to overlook some of the funky things and misprints that you see in this set. Last but not least, the question came about of how are people going to accept the new price point? So far, thankfully, I've had very little pushback on the increase in price. Most of my customers have enjoyed the set so much that they're overlooking the extra $1 or $2. And me personally, I'm okay with it as well. I would rather pay $2 or $3 extra to get this improvement in quality than to keep the old price with butterface pieces. So to bring this all to a close, I'm happy about House of X. I'm looking forward to playing with it more. If you're looking for an entry point for Heroclix, this is a great place to get started. You can start with these great sculpts. Grab you one of the old starter sets like the Justice League or something like that, or the Masters of Evil one's even better. Get one of those, get a couple booster packs or the Fast Forces, and you're good to go. I cannot recommend House of X enough. If you're looking for some, because I know quantities may be getting scarce in some places, we have it here, as you can see, at Imperial Comics and Games here in Shelby. Please come by, swing by, pick it up. We hope to see you here soon at the shop. As always, thank you for your support of this channel and of our store and community. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and keep playing.